So, you have your models painted and your list written, but how does that translate to the tabletop? How do you go from that to playing a game? Let's talk about how to use the new Leviathan mission cards, which tell you how to play missions in 10th edition. These cards will tell you how to score points and which obstacles the 41st Millennium will throw at you. The first deck you'll draw from is the deployment deck. This card will tell you where both players set up their armies, as well as the location of the objectives. For example, if you draw the Hammer and Anvil card, one player would set up their army in the space marked out in green, and the other would set their army in the space marked in red. The second deck is the Mission Rule deck. This card will tell you what special rule is in effect for the battle, such as Vox Static, which makes both the command reroll and New Order stratagems more expensive. Lastly, you draw a card from the primary mission deck. This will tell you exactly how many points are scored for holding each objective, as well as any alternate ways to score points that may exist. For example, if you draw the Priority Targets primary mission, then in addition to scoring objectives at the start of each turn, you'll also score them at the end of the game. You can score up to 55 points on the primary mission. Additionally, you can score up to 45 points using secondary objective cards, which each have specific tasks for you to accomplish. At the start of the game, both players secretly determine whether they want to draw cards randomly throughout the battle, or if they want to fix 2 cards from the deck and attempt to score the same ones each turn. Cards eligible to be fixed, such as Assassination, have this icon in the bottom left, and award fewer points when fixed versus drawn randomly. No risk, no reward. If you want to fix objectives, pick 2 that are eligible to be fixed, and set those to the side. These are your objectives for the whole game. Each turn, if you complete the requirement, you score the number of points indicated. For example, if you decide to fix Assassination and Behind Enemy Lines, those would be the only 2 cards you could score during the battle, but you would be able to complete them in as many turns as you like. If you choose to draw cards randomly, you shuffle the secondary objective deck, and in each of your command phases, draw until you have 2 secondary cards. These will tell you what tasks you need to accomplish in order to score. For example, you draw Assassination, which gives you victory points for killing your opponent's characters, and Behind Enemy Lines, which rewards you for getting units in your opponent's deployment zone. Don't worry about getting stuck with cards you cannot complete, however. Once a game, you can swap out a drawn card for a different one. Now, you don't think you'll be able to score Assassination this turn, so you use the New Order stratagem to discard it and draw a Tempting Target, which gives you points for holding a specific objective in No Man's Land. These are now your 2 secondary objectives for the turn. During your turn, you manage to score Behind Enemy Lines, which means that this card is discarded, never to be drawn again. You are unable to complete a Tempting Target, and can decide to either hold onto it for next turn, or discard it to gain a CP. Either way, you will draw cards next turn until you have 2 cards in hand. At the end of the third battle round, players can decide if they want to use the last deck of mission cards, the Gambit deck. This deck represents a last-ditch attempt to win a game gone horribly wrong. Both players shuffle their 3 Gambit cards and discard 1 at random before adding the Just As Planned card to the 2 remaining cards. Each player selects a card in secret before revealing them simultaneously. If you selected the Just As Planned card, then everything continues just as planned. You play out the rest of your game as normal without using the Gambits at all. If you select a Gambit card, however, your whole game changes. You can no longer score points from the primary mission, and instead have a specific task to accomplish at the end of the game to score 30 points in one daring maneuver. For example, Orbital Strike Coordinates requires you to have units in the corners of the board at the end of the game. Gambits are a high-risk, high-reward strategy that aren't for the faint of heart. Finally, you score 10 points for showing up with a fully painted army. This is known as being battle ready. At the end of the battle, whichever player has more points is the winner. What do you think about 10th edition 40K? Let us know in the comments down below, and make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel to help us bring you more content like this. But if you want even more content like this, you can check out our website in the link down below, thewarroom.vhx.tv, where you can get a 3-day free trial to join our wonderful global community and get more content for all skill levels.